Hole 7 is a 582-yard par 5 that plays under par. This is a hole where players will look to be aggressive and score. Off the tee, this is a slight dogleg left with a defined landing area. Bunkers line both sides from 250 to 320 yards, and the landing area narrows to just 35 yards wide. Most players will look to take a line over the left bunker and try to fade the ball back into the fairway. The fairway bunkers are not disaster. They just take the opportunity to go for the green in 2 away. From the fairway, players can look to go for the green in 2, but positioning is critical to create that opportunity. This is a hole where a good drive sets up a real scoring chance. The green is protected by 3 bunkers, one on the front left, one on the front right, and one on the right middle. There's also a runoff area on the back right side, so anything long can leak right and create a difficult recovery. The green has 2 distinct levels, with a ridge running through the middle that feeds balls toward the left side. The key here is controlling the approach and using the contours to your advantage. This is a scoring hole, but only if players are in position. Hole 8 is a 208-yard par 3 that plays just over par. This is a control hole that requires precision. Off the tee, this is a long par 3 to a very narrow target. The green is just 13 yards wide and 38 yards deep, making both distance control and direction critical. Club selection will be key, as players will typically be hitting a mid to long iron depending on the conditions. There is very little room for error, so committing to the right number is essential. The green is heavily bunkered, with sand running down the entire right side, along with bunkers front left and long left. Miss offline and you're almost guaranteed a difficult up and down. The green slopes from back to front and features 3 distinct levels. This can create challenging putts, especially if players are on the wrong level. The key here is hitting the correct section of the green and avoiding the bunkers. This is not a hole to attack. Hit the green, have a chance at birdie, but ensure a par. Hole 9 is a 404-yard par 4 that played just over par. This is a control hole to finish the front 9. Off the tee, the hole features a narrow landing area that tightens to just 25 yards. Finding the fairway is critical, as anything offline makes the approach significantly more difficult. From the fairway, the approach is played over a creek to an angled green that demands both precision and commitment. This is where the hole really challenges players. There is no room for a tentative swing here. The green is protected by a bunker on the left and another at the back right, with water in play for any shot that comes up short. The green also slopes from back to front and from left to right. There's a false front on the left side which can reject shots back towards the water. The green is also narrow on the right tip, making it a much tougher target. The key here is controlling distance and favoring the middle of the green. This is a hole where par is a good score. Hole 10 is a 464-yard par 4, and it's one of the toughest holes on the course. Off the tee, this hole presents a defined landing area that's about 30 yards wide. There's a bunker complex down the left side that requires 270 yards to carry. Most players will favor a fade, starting the ball over that bunker and working it back into the fairway. That line opens up the best angle into the green. The green is protected by bunkers on the front right, front left, and back left, so both distance and direction are critical. The green slopes from back to front and features a distinct ridge in the back third of the green. There's also a false front that is very much in play for front pin positions. The key here is controlling distance to ensure that you're on the correct level of the green. This is a hole where mistakes can add up quickly. Hole 11 is a 587-yard par 5 that played just under par. This is a scoring opportunity, but only if you position the tee shot correctly. Off the tee, the landing area is about 30 yards wide, with a bunker complex on the right side. The left side of the fairway is tree-lined with a creek running through it. Longer hitters will have an advantage here and will look to favor the right side of the fairway. That line opens up the opportunity to go for the green in 2. For players that are out of position, laying up becomes much more complicated, as there is a creek in play that runs down the right side of the fairway before crossing over to the left. The green is protected by a bunker on the front left with a creek running across the front. It features a backstop behind the hole which can help shots that carry deep. The front left has a false front that can reject shots back towards the water. This is a scoring hole, but only if it's played with discipline. Hole 12 is a 179-yard par 3 that plays just over par. This is a precision hole where tentative swings can lead to trouble. From the tee, this is a full carry over water to a narrow putting surface. The green is angled from left to right and is just 12 yards wide. A pond and greenside bunker guard the front, Any shots that come up short risk rolling back into the water. The green slopes from back to front and features two distinct levels. There's also greenside bunkers positioned on the front middle and the back left. That leaves a very narrow effective target, especially depending on the pin placements. The key here is committing to the number and finding the center of the green. This is a hole where par is always a good score.